"Your sister's moving in with you next week," my mom said, calmly, smiling. As if she hadn't just thrown a grenade across the table. I didn't flinch. I didn't argue. I just kept eating my rice like nothing had happened. Because what she didn't know was, I had already moved out, 3 days ago, to an apartment they didn't even know existed. No forwarding address. No spare key. No access. And in less than 72 hours, my phone would explode with voicemails and desperate messages. But at that moment, I just smiled and passed the salad. If you've ever been treated like a second parent in your own family, this story's for you. Because sometimes, the quietest exits are the loudest rebellions. If your family ever made decisions for you without asking you, this story's going to hit hard. Stay till the end. Ashley's moving in with you. She'll take the bed, you can sleep on the couch. That's how my mom said it. Like it was already done. Like I was the spare room. Like I was a plan, not a person. Ashley, 23, reckless, impulsive, allergic to accountability, had just burned through her second college, totaled her third car, and maxed out her credit cards, chasing a version of freedom she expected someone else to pay for. That someone was always me. Now she needed a break, a reset, a fresh start, and I apparently was the "a reset" button. You don't mind, right? She needs guidance. You live alone. It's selfish not to help. Selfish. That word, it followed me through every age like a shadow. When I wanted space, I was selfish. When I said no, I was selfish. When I stopped picking up their messes, selfish. So I said, "Sure," and smiled. Because I already knew something they didn't. For out of 2 years, I'd been living in a modest one-bedroom near downtown Seattle. Clean, quiet, unremarkable, and completely mine. But to my family, I still lived at home. In the basement apartment, they graciously allowed me to use rent-free. That basement was a shell, a decoy, a museum of fake presence. Why the charade? Because the last time I tried to leave, really leave, it triggered a rout meltdown. What, you think you're better than us? Running off like that, and you sound just like your father. We count on you. They didn't want a daughter. They wanted a spare adult. Someone who didn't complain, didn't collapse, didn't require. I moved differently after that. Stopped explaining, stopped defending, stopped asking for permission from people who only weaponized guilt. But this didn't start with Ashley's couch reservation. It started long before. When I was waiting all force, helping Ashley with her homework because Mom was too tired. When I was 16, working weekends and handing over every paycheck. When I was 17, skipping prom to watch Ashley because we can't afford a sitter. When I got a scholarship and heard them tell relatives they paid my tuition. When I missed deadlines, birthdays, sleep to hold up a house I didn't break. I was raised to be useful, not whole. And when I asked for rest, must be nice to have your life together. Some of us don't have it so easy. As if I hadn't built my life out of scraps and sleepless nights. 3 days before that dinner, I moved out. Silently. Smoothly. No farewell fanfare. The old apartment stayed intact. Dusty dishes, forgotten laundry, a fake key under the mat. It looked lived in, but it was hollow. I left no forwarding address. No social media clues. Even my packages went to my office. It was surgical, clean, because this wasn't just escape. This was liberation. And when dinner came, I knew what it was. A test. A trap. One more chance for them to flex control dressed as family duty. "We're dropping Ashley off Friday," Mom said. "Oh, and she's bringing the dog." Dad nodded like he wasn't part of the conversation. Ashley didn't even look up. And I smiled. No problem. because they still thought I was standing on the rug, and I'd already pulled it out from under them. Friday arrived. The text started early. "On our way, Ashley's so excited. Then, where are you? No one's home. Why is the apartment empty? Did you move?" The voicemails started, angry, panicked, manipulative, desperate. "You abandoned your sister. This is why we never trusted you. You're tearing this family apart." They cycled through rage, then pity, then blame. And I turned off my phone, and for the first time in years, I slept. Deep, dreamless, like my nervous system finally believed I was safe. Life now? Unremarkable, beautifully boring, deliciously mine. I work, I light candles, I eat dinner in silence. I let dishes sit in the sink without anyone judging me. I take long showers. I cry when I need to. I heal in fragments, in layers, in freedom. Ashley moved back in with our parents. Mom says she's depressed. Dad says it's my fault. But they don't get a reply. Not anymore. If you've ever felt like a parent in your own childhood, if you've ever been the designated helper, even when you needed help the most, if you've ever said, "I'm fine," while handing over the last piece of yourself, then let this story be your mirror, your permission, your spark. You don't owe anyone access to a version of you they never helped build. You're allowed to move in silence. You're allowed to stop explaining. You're allowed to leave without applause. And you are not selfish for choosing your own sanity over someone else's chaos. And the revenge? It wasn't the empty apartment. It wasn't the phone I turned off. It was the silence that followed. The one they couldn't fill, control, or guilt their way into. Because the greatest revenge is peace. They can't reach. Subscribe if you're choosing boundaries over burnout. Share this with someone who's tired of being the family yes person. And remember, quiet exits are still powerful.